My siblings, please reach out your hands in prayers over me. Most High, we ask that I may speak with your voice and that we may hear with your heart. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Your word is truth, O God. Consecrate us to the truth. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. May Christ be with you.
And also with you.
A reading from the Good News according to the book of Luke.
Glory to you, O Christ.
Someone from the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me." Jesus said to him, "Man, who appointed me as judge or referee between you and your brother?" Then Jesus said to them, "Watch out, guard yourself against all kinds of greed. After all, one's life isn't determined by one's possessions, even when someone is very wealthy." Then he told them a parable. A certain rich man's land produced a bountiful crop. He said to himself, "What will I do? I have no place to store my harvest." And then he thought, "Here's what I'll do. I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. That's where I'll store all my grain and goods. I'll say to myself, you have stored up plenty of goods, enough for several years. Take it easy. Eat, drink, and enjoy yourself." But God said to him, "Fool, tonight you will die. Now who will get the things you have prepared for yourself?" This is the way it will be for those who hoard things to themselves and aren't rich toward God. This is the gospel of Christ.
Praise to you, O Christ.
Vanity, vanity, it's all vanity. Vain, empty, useless, perfectly pointless in the translation we use today. What the heck are we doing this for? It's interesting because in recent time we have seen people of immense wealth and privilege use it for things that don't actually further the kingdom, don't actually take care of the people, not even our hopes and dreams. The moonshot was international competition, but it was also an hope and dream thing, reaching beyond ourselves. I don't think that was pointless. But you know, I could sure come up with a long list of things that are. And I struggle with that and that balance. So Ecclesiastes is interestingly named. The Ecclesia, the Ecclesios, that's back to the public square. It's where you go and you have your philosophy conversations. So the book title could have meant for the common good, or it could have meant here I am the philosophy teacher. We're not really sure. And it starts out saying, and this is all crock. Everything I'm going to say from this on is just utterly worthless. And that actually kind of works with the Blackfoot hierarchy, right? First, you have to have a safe shelter, and then you have to have a little something in your stomach, and then you have to have a little love and affection, and then you can think about deeper stuff. Because what's of core importance is different than what's of deep importance. But the funny thing is it comes back because the things of deep importance are still that little bit of safety and that little bit of nourishment and that little bit of connection. So the things we see at the bottom of that hierarchy continue to cycle through. And even when we get up far beyond the piece that Maslow understood to the fullness of that teaching, the world of self-actualization has to do with actualization to you and your community. And it's a little bit of shelter and a little bit of nourishment and a little bit of connection. And Ecclesiastes is talking about all the hard work. Now, mind you, this is a philosopher's hard work under the sun, so I'm going to call him on that for just a hot minute. Might be hard work on dusty scrolls, but I'm not willing to suggest backbreaking labor in the library. But talking about the fact that you can't know what is going to come of what you do. You never can. So if you're doing it for your own satisfaction, boy, are you going to be disappointed. But if you do it to be part of a greater weaving, then you can be satisfied that you did something to be part of the greater weaving. And that work within you is worthwhile. And we see this in a similar way here in this psalm, because the metaphor of torn down walls is very specific. It's a vineyard whose walls have been torn down. It is a sheltered place to grow grapes from which the shelter has been removed. That's how come the boars can get in and eat the vines. And it's asking God to resume active stewardship. It's not that God wasn't allowing rain to happen. It's that without the wall, anybody could pluck the fruit. Any boar or bug could come in. It was the neglecting of the protection of it, which, when we consider the history of the Israelites, and I don't know, you and me, we regularly tear down the walls of our protections, and we then get all pissed off when the boars come in, because somebody should have told us. I mean, we've got that in our geopolitics, right? And the trick is, if you don't protect that vineyard, it does dry out, because even though the rain comes, it's not preserved well. It's not going into the cisterns. And then the fire comes. And random people come by and take your nice grape tree, and because by the time you've got vines of that it's a tree. Just go with it. Those things end up so thick. But people will take it because it's thick and use it as firewood because they're cool right then. And they're not thinking long term. So all of that comes because it's not being actively and insightfully stewarded for the future. And Colossians goes on with this, and all of this is leading up to the gospel, right? So Colossians is about, look, you've got the petty concerns of right now, but are you paying any attention to deeper stuff? When you even get the list, and it's one of the Paul lists. It's not sex, it's sexual immorality, moral corruption, lust, hunger for hunger's sake, not for valuing the other person, right? Evil desire, greed, cruelty, and self-centeredness. These are the things that are being called out. Being interested in your personal payoff of the moment. And we're given, in contrast, a cherishing of each other. Don't lie to each other. Take off the practices of that old human nature and put on the nature that is joined to the image of love incarnate, conforming to the image of the one who created it. Don't have the divisions. Not where you're from, not where your paycheck is, not what your choices in life are. Christ is all things and in all people. And with all of that as a foundation, Jesus, will you make me my brother, give me what I think is my share? Well, now, Hebrew wills are pretty straightforward. I'm really curious what was actually being debated here. But maybe the elder brother wasn't giving the token amount the younger brother gives or something like that. And maybe the elder brother was concerned about exactly what the younger brother would do with it. We've all known that younger sibling we wouldn't trust with a plug nickel. So we don't know what's going on here. And Jesus says, wait, why are you putting me in the middle of this? And then says, life isn't about money. And then he tells a story where life isn't about money and life isn't about your bets on your future. This doesn't say God's going to kill the man because he was planning to build a bigger warehouse. It says that this man is planning what to do to build a bigger warehouse instead of a bigger table. And it's pointless. Goes back to Ecclesiastes. It's pointless because he's not going to sit at his own small table, let alone a bigger table. And he could have done a lot of good giving it away. But instead, now it's his heir's choice, not his. He's lost the chance to make a difference because he held on too tight. And there's some truth in that too, right? So as we're looking at our world and our choices, let's think about what we're stewarding to share out, what we're stewarding to wisely keep for a lean time, because we see that taught in other places in Scripture. And what maybe we're not really stewarding at all, regardless of how tight we're holding it, because we're not acting like a steward. We're acting like somebody who needs to sleep on a bed of this stuff. And all of those are balances with all of our reserves. Remember when we talk about time, talent, and treasure, right? I know I'm not particularly good at stewarding my time. Sometimes I'm too spendthrift with my talent. Heaven knows I don't have much treasure to worry about, but I managed to screw up the other two. So we all need to talk about it and work on it, right? So let's talk.